OKFM 101.7.
Mustapha Gbandi, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Deputy Director of Operations, Presidency. Now, I'm going to come on. Let's say.
Hello.
Now, what to say? Now, what's your woman want to make?
Do Kapa. You Ghana. Ghana, the council, your home.
Your Ghana, the council.
Only one the car on you or Daniel.
There be our Daniel. Now, my memory, and the course swore a war. Honorable Reverend Ntim Fordjour MP for some South, ranking the Committee of Defense and Interior of Parliament of Ghana. Sade na woni movie.
David. And it's a Yamana being a director. And me involved how investigations are run. But I think that I'm a senior member of government and the party. I'm a Ghanaian. I'm interested in fighting crimes. And that was one of the promises we made to the people of Ghana. We must be seen fulfilling that mandate. Much as we want to fight crimes, the processes and procedures for doing same ought and should be properly aligned with the rules of law, what is practicable, so that we don't set a bad precedent. Good leadership should not emulate bad leadership. Good leadership does what is different from what we know. And that is what we are advocating for.
And yeah, what can I say here? My main share minority in parliament, one more ranking. And some are okokan ye fa eluprebia mienu eba ha na on suspicion say eba ha be ye den president kwaka se omunti committee no omu hwehwem supplement raid eba ye ene takrade anase central region ho no cocaine bi a omu baste here near the what do you make of it?
Oh, I think first of all, Reverend Ntim Fordjour, you see, because he's a pastor, I accord him that respect, not necessarily because a politician. He brought out a very key and important information of a Kwame Ewonsunsansua. It's not just for saying sake. On the ordinary Ghanaian, no, it's not good. Obia utukwan. Obia ufia manone Ghana ni uba ukrum. Ghana ni utukwa buchiri. Sasa mwa Ntim Fordjour akano. Ewunsu sanso ne dosu. Bebre. Utukwa kuyuti. Wakame sadi ya ukwa asadi ya usha celebrity shusi. Na wadu hitru. Ni yesu ufi Ghana nti. Ni Ntim Fordjour akentino. You should never a cooking woman. It's so embarrassing. So therefore,
na me ba jombo senye breeding kania obi aka bibi sa okay 77 passes of cocaine and once
we know was not said by a mere communicator. It was said at the floor of parliament by a ranking member. Na bibisa no, and I was thankful, sir, Mr. President, has difference from President Akufo-Addo, who would have shared.
But so him say airports are who no.
President Akufo-Addo would have shielded this because that was what has happened in the past. President Mahama says, sir, please, I have received this information that a member of parliament has made him. I am aware that in the couple of weeks, no, Omachi cocaine phobia. And every year, immediately, state institutions should come together, collaborate with the member of parliament to ensure, sir, proper investigations are done. Now, Omano Yadrimunye and say Ghana and your transit point. Ghana Yadrimunye clear that Ghana is not a transit point for cocaine. It also means that some individuals could do all of us that injustice, so that when the investigation is done, we'll get to know. Rather than Ntim Fordjour free on call TV stations and call radio stations, he had sacrificed his parliamentary immunity and making statements outside the floor of parliament, continuing the allegations. He even went to the extent that he and Mr. Tax screened a presentation of tracking. Okay? Why won't he collaborate with state agencies? Yesterday's arrest of a parliament. Yes, Ntim Fordjour call heaven, call down. He has to appear, he has to be arrested and collaborate with the investigation, or he has to volunteer to collaborate with the investigation. But you cannot go to anybody's house. Say, oh, no wash a mask. If you national security cable, if you defense and cable, NIB officer.
Yes, what's a mask?
No, NIB officer. Mm-hmm. Why would you wear a mask? You dilute your responsibility to show identity.
Okay.
And when you do that, it's wrong. It's lazy work. Very lazy work. People will say that it's a state, it's the executive who is not doing their work. But these are public institutions who are supposed to be doing their work professionally. Number two.
But one person for cameras, no, be able to photo near the.
And you're not qualified to be an NIB officer. You should resign. If I am going to arrest President Akufo-Addo, he will see to me. I will respect him as a former president. I'll tell him, Mr. President, ABCD require that you present yourself for assist some investigation. If the president says I won't go, you will call for reinforcement and arrest him. But prima facie, fundamental, you cannot go and effect an arrest of a honorable member of parliament. Now we shall ask. Will you appoint? We cannot dilute the conversation with reckless work. Reverend Ntim Fordjour should be properly arrested or invited to face and provide feather and butter particulars, but not in this shoddy way of doing things. What is there? You cannot go to anybody's house wearing a mask. That is not an acceptable standard of arrest. Particularly so that member of parliament, no.
Honorable. Mustapha, I don't hear Mustapha. One more small woman. One name as a much say, Munsha way.
And I was smart, Colonel Koya, the bonnie, I was a they said go and arrest somebody. Go and arrest somebody, not NIB officer. Who said Nika, a policeman, who said your friend Nika, shot, Nwako. After number two, what they are mask. Now they are showing him. Oh, if it is me, I will not allow myself to be arrested. I will not. It's simply not right. And this is not what the government or what the institution was asked to do. Somebody should have written a letter inviting Ntim Fordjour officially, or a call should have been placed to him for him to make himself available for investigation. So there are some arguments there. He is protected under the parliamentary privileges. No. After he made the statement, a very critical, a very important statement on the floor of parliament, he came outside parliament. Parliament is on recess. All business of parliament is closed. Unless, of course, there's some responsibility that some members of parliament are performing. has gone to the public space to run these commentaries, and that he should be arrested as an ordinary person, but a ranking member or a person of some repute who should be accorded the needed courtesies in order for the substance of this is for the investigation to be carried out. Come what is here? The substance of it, they say, the president wants to know, have there been any iota of truth to what suspicion Reverend Ntim Fordjour is holding, yes or no? Then we can take it up from there. President Mahama will not shield any crime. Okay? So, if an institution is going to do that, and I'm aware this morning that some requests have been made to Parliament, and Parliament have not yet responded. That issue is neither here nor there. Reverend Ntim Fordjour has made these comments publicly. You know, he's gone out of Parliament, he's gone to Metro TV, they've even tracked the plane. He has assumed the powers of national security, powers of narcotics control board, powers of NIB, all investigating on touch screen. So the institution should just invite him. If we needed to arrest him when he was doing the touch screen, why couldn't we arrest him there? He came to radio stations. Why couldn't we arrest him there? Reverend Ntim Fordjour drives in town. Why can't we track him and arrest him? Why should it be the case that or Timothy on any mouth now yasha mask now yako unti ukobon tuya now who takes responsibility? How do we know that you are the one who caused it? That is not President Mahama's regime. This is certainly a condemnable conduct on the officer who won march to Ntim Fordjour's house. And I can say, sir, it's a misconduct targeted at distorting the issues. And I will insist that the issues will be corrected and the right thing will be done. Somebody from NIB should place a call to Ntim Fordjour to report, or they should write a letter to him. If he fails to come, we will coordinate every force necessary to arrest him. Because can you imagine how America near to a country they see there cocaine here? It was said by not the mean person, but a member of parliament near the politics.
I know the and what can you say? Then they should have found a proper way of inviting him.
Yes, I insist that should be done. Kwame, we promise to do things different from what President Akufo-Addo did.
Ayi na mama radio you. Sa issue you nipa bia susu se enka omo be calling on the Speaker of Parliament to constitute a bipartisan a committee. Mean can bipartisan a committee to look into it. And the binum see there be yenya independent body bia san some no ma raise no wo mo nyina abehwemu. Ojin say,
well, you see, the problem is that minority want to do politics. It's fair. We did the same thing to them. But we can't sacrifice the right way of doing things to join that free of conversation. Let the minority make their noise. Let us have our way. They should go to court. If Ntim Fordjour is arrested, let them go and make noise. If yesterday the right thing was
now can say munye things the way Akufo-Addo did. Akufo-Addo pension BBC.
Me say, and if it was the proper way of arresting this young man, and a minority for Nekugua will ransack all of them and arrest them because they are obstructing arrest.
Okay.
But it wasn't done properly because somebody worn mask cannot be identified wielding a gun went to the place of these are characteristics of President Akufo-Addo's regime. These are Nyama Yehu of President Akufo-Addo regime. No, President Akufo-Addo ordinarily would have sat on this matter quietly.
I know. Example will be a dear.
Oh dear, baby,
wow, we have evidence.
Kokoduka International Airport wa.
Aye.
Sir, aircraft may not be so high cocaine. Hey. One crofodi beba from her. One me park alarm blue, you move any other plane.
Wow.
It's Kotoka International Airport.
Also can be.
That be it's no way here allegations it's it was a good thing. Investigation continued. What I say. But President Muhammad Otiyan was saying he is instructing specifically national security with other state entities to, make sure that investigations are done. And I do understand why it took some time for us to get here. Because before you take an action as a state, you must first of all also do your own checks. Because it is the duty of state institutions to would have prevented anything criminal that will happen in this country. I'm out here. Oko airport, national security, narcotics, NIB, NRP, advance aviation security, and Sweatport, also handle cargo no na answer na play me beba ever land where airport no. Aviation should have authorized it, and then when they land, the ground men would have done further checks. Okay, so all these things wouldn't have happened before a plane boards or load and take off. All these checks would have been made. So it is a duty of the state to do its homework well, to satisfy itself on a normal procedure, standard airport management procedure. No, Bibia.
And you was a Ghana airport company. One was so quiet. And their silence is too loud.
Debbie. The Ghana Airport Company is an institution under Ministry of Transport. The Ghana Airport Company is a management company. It manages several other institutions or inhabited them to do their work. So airport company is a mother company. And I'm say aviation security is there, national security is there, NIB is there, and narcotics also almost. Each of these entities has peculiar management responsibility as far as handling of aircraft and cargo management is concerned. Particularly to the extent say, the matter was specifically, the president instructed that it should be a coordinated investigation collaborating with the whistleblower. An airport company cannot be talking. Okay. You have to collaborate. You and I do not know what has happened behind the scene.
Okay.
The cross-checkings. Just to make sure that the state has, on a normal day, every officer of the state they have done their work. Okay? But, satisfy the institutions there. On any normal routine, if I'm coming to OKFM, I need to go to the reception and book an ameboa. Then somebody takes me to Konamubabi Aushaho. So if something happens, they must first of all check so when the state satisfies itself with all of these processes, then it can invite the whistleblower to assist. But even before the state does that, the whistleblower was all over the place. Oye presentations, he is saying this, he is saying that, damaging the reputation of the country on mere suspicion. So it's a matter before investigative bodies. Airport company cannot be investigating the matter in public or cannot be dealing with the matter in public. 3 days ago, they issued a clarification, a public statement clarifying that one, these are the positions of Ghana Airport Company. Their own checks have not revealed anything close to what Reverend Ntim Fordjour is suspecting. So therefore, don't you think that it becomes now very clear that one way or the other, Reverend Ntim Fordjour would have been making a legitimate statement in good faith, or his statements were malicious and of bad faith, politically intended to tarnish the reputation of the government and the country. So therefore, he does not have the option to just volunteer. If he fails to volunteer to cooperate, the institutions of state are mandated by law to arrest him. And I'm saying that in executing the arrest, the proper thing should be done. The proper thing was to invite him. And an invitation can be a phone call or a written letter officially served on Reverend Ntim Fordjour. So if yesterday, when the BNI officers went there, was to just invite him to say, oh, report on your own to NIB at this time. And Reverend Ntim Fordjour fails to go. National security, but that was not the case. What diluted the rightful way of arresting Ntim Fordjour yesterday was the presence of an officer wearing a mask. Why? We condemned these acts in 2020-2019 when we were living in a country under a human rights lawyer who did not have respect for fundamental human rights. He abused everybody. They did what they want. President Mahama is doing a different thing. State officials must be seen to be responsible in the discharge of their work. So I'm saying that Reverend Ntim Fordjour would have to be invited. He has to be arrested. He will be arrested. And if he refuses...
Oh, and
yes, that's what I'm saying. They should take him. So I don't understand what the minority noise is about. We can't treat this issue like that. Oh, and state is doing a self-start. One officer has misbehaved. That officer should be held responsible. You see, they shouldn't say, Abino, President Mahama's government will not persecute anybody. I mean, and I can tell you, we will not do that. And me, I will not support anything like that.
Okay.
But if you are wrong, tomorrow, if Kwame Nkrumah Tiketiye breaks a law, President Mahama's regime will coordinate with state agencies. You will be arrested, and we should allow institutions to function. When it's wrong, let's say it is wrong. When it is right, let's say it is wrong. It is right. I'm condemning the style with which these masked men went to the place, and I'm saying that he has to be arrested properly. It will not dilute the issues.
Mate, Mamma was an administration champagne and Famon. And may you see a word, Mammy. Okay, 101.7. So, any now your name Mustapha Gbandi, and I think a huma a fiatre abekayensa. Now, who's the name of what I can say or buy him? If I draw him out, Ben,
and there's some years Christ and American about him fiachi. Or him fiachi. Okay.
Now, South Queen Madam. Where the minimum or the buy?
Okay.
Queen Mother.
Queen Mother.
Winning the air by
debut.
Ebra. Yes, Queen Elizabeth. Wabetna a just one. So no Baba.
So no fee
or 26 or something years. No sir.
And who for
none mammy ho. It will me almost say any mammy a Queen Mother.
Okay.
And the mother of the Queen lexicon.
Okay. Queen Mother.
OKFM 101.7.